Welcome to week 2 of Entrepreneurial Marketing. This is Sean Canary. This week we're talking about developing successful marketing and organizational strategies. Due this Tuesday is your week 2 quiz for the chapter on developing successful marketing and organizational strategies. Simply go into McGraw-Hill and connect and take your week 2 quiz. So let's talk a little bit about developing successful organizational and marketing strategies. Today's organizations, there's all sorts of different types of organizations, right? And it usually has something to do with what the organization is offering. There's for-profit organizations, non-profit organizations, government agencies, and really it all begins with what the product offerings and industry they're in. Again, for-profit organizations and non-profit organizations aren't too different. Their goals align differently a little bit, whereas for-profit organizations, their goals are sales and market share and profits, whereas non-profit organization goals center around the clients and their satisfactions and the efficiencies and helping people. Most organizations, the structure of organizations, they have a functional level, meaning a function where they're serving a product or producing a product or providing a service. And they're also often split into different departments. Sometimes they have cross-functional teams where they supersede different levels of the organization and touch different levels of that organization and different departments within that organization. For instance, HR. HR has a hand in each level of an organization, helping to train, helping to monitor, helping to improve the work lives of individuals within that organization. When it comes down to visionary organizations and those organizations that really stand out, they all have something in common. They all establish a foundation, set a direction, and create strategies to successfully develop and market their offerings. Under the organizational foundations, this is the why we're in business. Why are we doing this? What are our core values? What are our business's core values? What are our mission? What's the mission of this company? And a mission statement serves as that mission or as that North Star that guides us on every decision. And then within the organization, we establish a culture of how we want to be. For instance, the company I work at, Kuno Creative, our core values are teamwork, providing our customers the best service possible, as well as developing new and great services and products for our customers. Our mission is to provide the best inbound marketing experience possible, and our organizational culture is built around those core values of teamwork and working hard. In fact, during the summer, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, we have half-day Fridays where we enjoy the beautiful weather in Ohio, and we take half days on Fridays, and it helps establish a positive culture within our organization. As for the direction of our organization, what is our business? What do we do? What are our goals, both short-term and long-term? Obviously, our agency, Kuno Creative, is an inbound marketing agency that provides clients marketing services. And we have goals both short-term and long-term to grow based on both sales and new employees. And often, this leads to successfully develop our strategies of how we're going to go about these long-term and short-term goals, both corporately, functionally, and what products we're offering. So sometimes goals and objectives can be either profit or sales, market share, quality, customer satisfaction if we're a nonprofit, employee welfare, social responsibility, and efficiency. And when we're figuring out our goals or objectives, we often use SMART goals or objectives. And these are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based goals. For instance, when we set up our goals, both for our short term campaigns as well as our long term goals, we want to make sure that we're very specific. So, for instance, we have a goal of getting 3 new customers next quarter. It's a very specific goal. There's a number often associated with these specific goals. Why? Because it's very measurable. Because we can look back on this quarter and see if we obtained 3 new customers. That's a very measurable goal. Is it obtainable? I think so. We usually get 1 or 2 customers, 1 or 2 new clients every quarter. So I think it's a very attainable goal. Is it relevant? Yes, it's relevant to our business. It's relevant to us succeeding in our business. And is it time based? Well, we have a time based goal of a quarter, so it's very time based. Finally, where are we now? One of the first things we want to do when establishing our goals is take a situational analysis. All right, we need to take a look at both ourselves as well as our competitors. So sometimes we need to take a look at our competitors. For instance, if we were Sears or Land's End, we take a look at the different competitors that we have and separate them into different categories. For instance, Land's End and Sears has very different competitors both ends. For instance, LLB, J. Crew, Sundance, Coldwater Creek. These are very specialty clothing retailers. And then on Sears ends, they have department store chains competitors. But we could break it out even further than that, identifying specialty shops, clothes brands, internet retailers, and mass merchandisers. So it's important to take a situational analysis and take a look at who our competitors are. Another thing to take a look at is our actual BCG matrix, which is our business portfolio analysis. Okay, what are our products? And where do they rank on the BCG matrix? Do they have a relatively low or high market share and a relatively low or high market growth rate? Cash cows are our main products. These are, the stars are our relatively main products. These are high market share and high market growth rate. These are our really good products. These still have a relatively high ceiling. We have cash cows that these provide a lot of value to our clients, a lot of value to our company. These have a relatively low market share but high growth rate. We have question marks that are high market share but a relatively low growth rate. And then we have dogs, which are both low in market share and low in growth rate. So what does this look like for a company? Well, let's take a look at the iPhone. The iPhone would be our example of our cash cow, right? A lot of sales, and it still has a relatively high volume, right? What about our Apple Watch? Where do you think our Apple Watch, our iPod, and our iPod mini fall into place? Well, our iPod is kind of our dog, right? It's a limited technology. People have iPhones. They don't need them anymore, right? Apple Watches are question marks. They have a high growth rate, but a low market share. Our stars are our iPhone 6, and our iPad is our cash cow. We have a low market growth rate, but we have a high relative market share. So in our strategic marketing process, we got to figure out how do we allocate our resources to get where we want to go. How do we convert our plans into actions, and how do we compare our results and make new deviations to our plan and change the direction where we're going? Well, when you guys are working on your final project throughout the semester, keep in mind the strategic marketing process has 3 phases, right? We have a planning phase, an implementation phase, as well as the evaluation phase. In our planning phase, we have a situational SWOT analysis. Our step 2 is our market product focus and goal setting. Step 3 is really identifying those marketing programs. Our step 2 in our implementation phase, and then finally, we measure results in our evaluation phase. So a situational analysis, our SWOT analysis. This is where we analyze our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it's easier to think of this as strengths and weaknesses are what's internal in your company, all right? What are our strengths as a company? What are our weaknesses as a company? And then opportunities and threats are external. So let's take a look at an example here. This is Ben & Jerry's ice cream company and a SWOT analysis for them. Now remember, our strengths and weaknesses are internal. For instance, our strengths are favorable, obviously. Ben & Jerry's is a well-known brand among U.S. consumers. It's recognized for its social mission, values, and actions. However, its weaknesses are that Ben & Jerry's social responsibilities could reduce focus on the product. Its modest sales growth and profits in recent years have made it a weakness. And then externally, what are the opportunities? Growing demand for quality in ice cream, increasing U.S. demand for Greek-style frozen yogurt. And our threats could be the fact that it's a sugary and fatty dessert, as well as competing with a lot of different ice creams out there. So those are some of the threats. So I want you to go ahead and create a SWOT analysis for your final paper on your imaginary business that you're creating your marketing plan for, right? Step 2 is to identify the product focus and goal setting. Your market segmentation. What segments does your product focus on, right? Who are your customers? What segments does it serve? How is it different from all the other products and services out there? How do you separate yourself? For instance, Lorain County Community College. Who are we serving? Well, we're serving young men and women that are graduating high school as an affordable educational option. But that's not our only segment. We also serve continuing education and those adult learners that want to learn more and go back to school. What makes us different? Well, our costs. We have one of the lowest tuition rates in the state of Ohio. That's what makes us different. Another thing that makes us different is our teaching staff. We have a teaching staff of people that apply what they teach, right? Functional or situational teachers. Step 3 is our marketing program, our marketing mix. What is our product? What's our pricing and what's our price strategy? How do we promote ourselves? And finally, how do we distribute our product? So again, if we were Lorain County Community College, our product strategy is we offer many different classes and services and courses. What's our price strategy? Obviously, we set ourselves to be one of the lowest tuition one of our lowest tuition colleges in the state. And then finally, what is our promotional strategy? We promote ourselves through local high schools and education places. We often run ads in local newspapers and magazines. And finally, how do we distribute our product? Well, we have a main campus in Elyria, as well as an internet offering that you're taking right now. We have satellite locations in North Ridgeville and Wellington, to name a few. So this is how we make our marketing mix, right? Our product, price, promotion, and placement. So as we go through this semester, we'll talk a little bit more about developing each one of these out. But again, your assignment this week is to take the week 2 quiz on developing successful marketing and organizational strategies. Good luck, and we'll talk to you next week.